Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I make turtles.
It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neal Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
What up, though? Welcome back, everyone. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Rule. As promised, we got T-Foss, Terry Foster in the house, Detroit sports media icon. Sam in the sound room. We got Sawyer on the ones and two. And T-Foss, what's going on, my friend?
We got a new nickname for Mr. Flum over here.
Oh, yeah? What do we got? What do we got, Sam? What is it?
Apparently, I'm Sam Flan now.
Sam
Flan. I like
he wears
that.
Flannels all the time.
It has become your trademark. I will be honest with you about that. The people have commented on it and everything like that. It has become your trademark.
Well, I'm happy about that because it was the nickname I gave to myself. So I don't know if that usually counts, but I'm glad that people notice.
You gave it was a self-imposed nickname.
Yes,
No,
self-imposed
I thought we gave
nickname.
it to you today. Was that already your nickname?
Well, I mean, I never really had a nickname, but my Instagram handle, my Twitter handle, Flannel Sam.
Flannel Sam?
But now I'm Sam Flan, so that's fine too.
Yeah, you got to shorten everything up.
Yeah, well, we'll have to marinate on that one and see what the story is. But happy to have you all back with us, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can tap into that little chat thread that we have going on. We put polls up there and everything like that. Like to get interactive with y'all. Hello, if you're listening on the radio, 93.5 The Roar, 99.1 FM, 94.7 HD2, all over the radio dial. Also, happy to be back with y'all on this very, very cold Thursday as we get ready to roll into the afternoon. And T-Foss, look, you guys know this about me is I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to listen. I seek guidance. I look for advice for people that have been there. You've been there. And I'll ask you guys, the audience, as well. So my wife and I this week got into a little bit of a discussion. I'll say it's a discussion.
Okay, you had an argument. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was mild. It wasn't like anything serious. But here's
No four-letter words?
No,
Okay,
none of
all
that.
right.
None of that. It's something, though, right, where it's been brewing for a little while. You know, like you know how stuff like festers on, then it takes like something ridiculous to make it kind of pop
This
off.
must be good. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it wasn't, but it's not like that though. I
You
think
said it's been festering, so this has got to be good.
It's been festering because like there have been comments back and forth about it. But here's the deal, guys. So, and I need to know. You guys need to tell me. Am I ridiculous? Because my wife thinks I'm ridiculous. So I leave it to you guys, and I know what you're going to say already. So, but I'm going to ask anyway. So Saturday, my wife makes some pasta, and I like Parmesan cheese with my pasta, like everybody else likes it. Now, we all know that the best Parmesan cheese is when you get the brick and you hand grate it yourself. Right. That's the best Parmesan cheese. There's no debate to that. I think we're all in agreement with that.
No fight on that.
Yeah. However, to me, the effort that it takes to do the brick Parmesan cheese with the grater and everything like that, and then so you grate it, and you have to grate it into the bowl, and then it spills on the counter a little bit inevitably, so you have to clean the Parm cheese off the counter. Then you put it in the bowl, then you eat it. Then when you're done, you got to put it back in the fridge, which you have to do with the regular Parmesan cheese, so that's whatever. But you have to take the Parmesan cheese grater, the cheese grater, put it in the sink. You have to hand wash that because it's got a rubber handle and don't want to run it through the dishwasher because you don't want to try to melt the handle or anything like that. It's not worth it to me. Is it better, fresh grated Parmesan cheese? Yes, it's better. But is it worth all the extra time and stuff I have to deal with in order to get it? No, it's not. I make a business decision, Terry, and I just go with the packaged grated Parmesan cheese and put the lid back on it, put it back in the fridge, and I'm done. And my wife says I'm ridiculous, that I won't make my food taste better because of what I have to do.
So
Am I being ridiculous? I make a business decision, Terry.
What you're saying is you're a lazy bum.
See, no. No, I'm not a lazy bum, Terry.
So instead of having the best food, you're more about convenience.
Yeah, to a degree. Now, there's a flip side to this coin, and already Detroit Dabber 313, who tapped in first, as he usually does here on our YouTube chat thread. Neal's using these polls to settle domestic disputes. No, it's because we all live similar lives, right? A lot of us do. We're all pretty much the same. And so that's why I want to know, is there validity to her claim that I'm ridiculous? Now, the flip side to that coin that you brought up, Terry, I like barbecuing steaks. Like, I grilled steaks on Sunday, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Even with it, I pull the grill over close to the sliding door, step outside, and I'll grill. It doesn't matter. If there's wind chills below zero, it doesn't matter. I'll still grill because that's how I roll. So I like my steak seasoned and stuff like that. Marinated, seasoned, all that kind of stuff. My wife does not. She just likes it on the grill and cooked. I like it seasoned, a little bit of marinade to it. The taste enhancement from the seasoning and the marinating is worth it to me, to go through that extra time to season and marinate the steak. I do value that more than the time. However, the enhancement from the grated Parmesan cheese is not so much more that I value it more than taking the time to wash the cheese grater. And she says I'm ridiculous.
Who loves pasta more, you or your wife?
Oh, my wife does.
Okay, and you're the steak guy.
Right.
Okay, I've been able to analyze this. Neal, you're selfish. You're a selfish bum. Honey Bun wants the best pasta, and you're not willing to give that to her. It's like, oh, let's just get it out the package.
See, Terry, if she asks me to do it, I'll do it for her. I will.
But she's sort of telling you, Neal, hook me up, because she's making fun of you for getting it out of the package.
She says I'm ridiculous.
Well, she's kind of telling you, babe, can't you do this for me? Can't you get the little brick thing and smush it all over my pasta? But here's Neal. I love steak. So I'm going to make sure my steak is marinated, seasoned, aged, whatever
see,
it was.
Terry,
It's
you're
all about
misrepresenting
me.
the truth here, man. You're misrepresenting the truth.
I don't think so.
You know, I think you are, because she doesn't like the steak season. It all boils down to this. It's like my draft capital thing. It's like my deal about having the number 1 overall draft pick. It's the most valuable thing you can have. Now, they ended up with 2. I'd rather have 1 than 2. Some people were good with 2 because they wanted to win over the Packers or whatever. I valued that more. I value the taste of the steak seasoned more than I value the taste of the pasta with the fresh grated Parmesan cheese on it. And is it better? Yes, it's better. However, it is not that much better, as opposed to a steak, which I believe is that much better.
But Mama wants the better pasta.
Then ask. Doughboy Steve, oh my God, Neal is sus. Lions Rumble 81. Sounds about snooty. See,
I didn't call you snooty yet.
I know, but
I'm just saying.
You haven't fulfilled that quota yet, right,
But
Terry?
but you gotta hook Mama up sometimes.
And that's fair. If she wants that, if she says, I do want some grated Parmesan cheese.
But you should just know.
I'll do it.
You should just know. You know this. You love your wife.
Absolutely.
That's your girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Our first date was homecoming freshman year of high school.
Oh, bam. That's wonderful.
Yep.
But you know she wants the better cheese on the pasta. You as a man shouldn't be told to get the better cheese. You should just do it, because that's your lady. That's Mrs. Rule.
No, I get it.
She is the queen of all queens. So the queen shouldn't have to ask for the cheese.
See, you're putting this on her. She's saying it's an issue with me. Like, I think this is independent and a different discussion for a different day. Rack says, I'm with you, Neal. The bang for your buck on changing taste with pre-shredded cheese isn't worth it. However, the seasoning on the steak is necessary. So there it goes. Detroit Dabber. I have a rotary grater and a flat grater. Oh, so you have 2 graters. So I think the chat should light up Detroit Dabber 313 about having 2 different cheese graters. How bougie is that, Terry?
That's a snooter.
I always use Parmesan rind in my next batch of sauce, too. It's a circle of Parmesan life, Neal. Oh, excuse me, Detroit Dabber. We only have but 1 cheese grater. We're slumming it over at the Rule household.
There he is over there trying to deflect things. But I think in this situation, you and your wife have been married a few years, correct?
Correct.
You have children?
You have 3 of them.
So you know each other pretty well.
Pretty well.
Which cheese do you think your wife would rather have?
I think that she would probably rather have the grated Parmesan cheese, but I don't know that because it's never been verbalized.
It has been verbalized. You just ignored the verbalization. When she's telling you, Neal, why are you getting this crap out of the bag?
No, see, Terry, you misrepresent this to get the people. Now I know why you're a Detroit media icon. Now
true.
I know why you got legendary status.
No.
Now I know why you've been a personality in this town for decades.
Didn't she just say, "Why, Neal? Why?"
No, she said, "Neal, you're ridiculous."
Why? Because you're just
because
ridiculous?
I won't take the extra time to put it on my pasta.
Okay, in other words, what she's saying is, I want the good stuff, and you're not providing it for me.
Where I thought I was the topic here. I thought like she was saying I was ridiculous. She didn't mention herself at all.
You are, but she's telling you she wants the good cheese without telling you.
Tammy Chin, Neal, when you go shopping, buy the already shredded cheese. Problem solved. No, that's what I do. But it's still better when you buy the block of it and grate it yourself. It just is. The cheese hits different, as the kids would say. It just does. It's still good. It's fine. See, that's the point of the discussion, Tammy, is that it's fine enough for me. Like I'm good with it. I don't value having to hand wash the cheese grater in order to get the extra taste benefit. But I will do the steaks. I will.
Because you like the steaks better.
I feel that the reward of the seasoning and the marinating is greater than the time it takes to do it, as opposed to the reward for the grated Parmesan cheese is not so great that it doesn't necessitate taking the time to clean the shredder.
No, I go to restaurants, they say, "Hey, would you like Parmesan cheese on your pasta?" And they just go beep, 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 real quick, and they go. They go to table to table to table. How long does it take to grate? It's like 15 seconds.
Yeah, probably. But it's the washing the grater that sucks, because you got to get in the holes there, else the cheese will sit in the holes. It won't necessarily always come out.
And how long does it take to wash? Another 30 seconds?
More than that, even. But see, here's the X factor in all this, Terry.
All right.
After I wash that cheese grater, and it won't be right away, but at some point later on in that evening, if I'll be in the kitchen doing something or getting something, and I'll see her kind of walk by to see, she'll grade how I washed the grater. You know what I'm saying? Does it pass her specifications? And if it doesn't, she'll be like, "You missed some of the cheese on there." And then I'm like, "Okay, well then you wash it."
Yeah, you know what?
It's good enough for me, Terry.
No, that's true. That's the X factor in this whole thing. You can never wash things good enough for a woman. I clean the kitchen sometimes, and I get the whatever it is for our granite, and everything, and I look at it and I say, okay, you know what? There's nice. There's no crumbs there. I see no streaks, and then the wife comes in and says, I got to clean the kitchen. I'm like, for what? I just cleaned it. It's never good enough for them. So they, instead of asking you to clean stuff, they should just do it in the first place.
Bam.
Why don't you shred the cheese and say, "Here you go, honey"?
Because you know why, Terry? Because I can't get. She works hard. She's a teacher. There's 30 kids in her class. She pretty much, handles the homework stuff because I'm useless. Like I admit that. I don't bring a lot to the table as far as the educational realm goes.
But if the shredder is not going to be good enough in the first place, just have her do it. Just one-stop shopping.
I know, and that's what I should do, but that's not going to work out well. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Jenna says, "I don't have a cheese grater and I only have one furnace, but I do have 2 Alexas." Well, see, there you go.
Ooh, wow.
Jenna doesn't even have to get up to hear what kind of song she wants.
0 Alexas, 1 furnace. I'm a regular guy. But I think, there's a lesson here. I think sometimes a husband needs to read his wife and make things better for her where she doesn't have to ask. Because you are the king. You're the king of the castle.
Yeah, well, that's not true, Terry.
King,
for all the other reasons I issued
take
earlier.
care of your queen.
Rack says, "Now we have to take into consideration that Neal's wife is Italian, so we really will never win this one on the home front." And that is correct, too. She is pasta elite, parm cheese elite, and that's fair. That's fine. It's just, so on the YouTube chat poll, is my wife right? Am I ridiculous? I don't think that I am. Yes, right now it's 60%. You guys are cute. Like, I didn't know you guys were going to do that. I think we've established here that guys are simple, all right? We like Sunday football, the feel of the TV remote in our hand. We like things uncomplicated, namely our Parmesan cheese. Like Lady Jane's, haircuts for men. Walk in, sit down. Before you know it, your hair is game ready. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. And guys, it's not like you're going to walk in the door and they're going to say, hey, we'll get to you at 4:30, or hey, come back in 45 minutes. No, walk in, sign in, sit down, boom, haircut handled. You are on their way. So now you have extra time where you can go home and hand grade your Parmesan cheese if that's what you want to do. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. It's Lady Jane's Wicked Awesome.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
And a miraculous catch.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Your Colts are losing the defensive coordinator, Sawyer.
Yeah, that's what you were saying before the show.
Yeah.
So some breaking news coming out of Indianapolis.
Matt Eberfluss, now the Bears head coach. Is that a blow to you and your Colts fandom?
I mean, it's not going to hurt how much I like the team or how I'll follow the team, but it definitely hurts the defense a little bit.
Yeah.
Losing the guy who helped set it up. But, I mean, I trust Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner. I mean, they're all dogs out there, so they'll figure it out.
You'll be all
they
right.
got a good system over there. I like our defense a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I noticed they didn't hire your quarterback coach.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either.
I'm just saying.
Oh, man. Big D Energy, the Woodward Sports Network. Neal Rule, Terry Foster here with you. Happy to have y'all along for the ride. And, yeah, we got the poll going on right now. Is my wife right? Am I ridiculous? We'll see what you guys have to say about that. But, Terry, Pro Football Focus came out with the grading for Penei Sewell and his run blocking grade. Penei Sewell had the highest run blocking grade by a rookie offensive tackle since 2009. So when you look at it, Terry, and this is what he was advertised as when the Lions took him. And you'll have to bear with me for a minute here because it's been a long time since we've had this happen to a Lions draft pick. Are you prepared to go all in with Penei Sewell and say, yep, pencil him in for the next 10 to 12 years, however long his career lasts, and you got a cornerstone. You have your quote-unquote Joe Thomas or Orlando Pace or what have you.
I did that before the season began.
Oh, really?
I was convinced this guy was the real deal. And, forget about what he did in the preseason. I know, and he had to switch positions, and I think sometimes we make judgments on people too soon that they're a bust. We had people talking about, they drafted the wrong guy. They should have got a receiver. But you have to let things marinate, in particular with a rookie. I mean, he went from right tackle to left tackle to right tackle. You got to let things play out a little bit. So I've always been high on him, seeing him play in college. That's the guy I wanted them to pick. They got him, so I was sticking by him.
And you look at, I think, the impact of what he did, and this goes back to it too. This is why, and I know we beat this thing to death, but part of I'm trying to think of the right word, but part of the reason that I don't care about Matt Stafford leaving or anything like that, number one, and wanting them to lose and all that stuff, obviously was because of the draft pick, but it doesn't bother me the way that it seems to bother a lot of people. Like the people that are jumping up and down in the videos about Stafford and all that kind of stuff. And the reason that I don't care about or anything like that is because of Penei Sewell. It's because of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Because of the factor that I brought up, Amon-Ra St. Brown's whole rookie contract with the Lions. The rest of the time, he's on his rookie contract.
All right,
will
brother,
be less money.
You're a little bit weird.
Okay, but that's less money than Kenny Galladay is going to make in September next year. You know what I'm saying?
I've heard
those.
that a few
Those are
times.
the things. Those are the things. That's how you win games as a franchise.
Stafford is a national story. Matthew Stafford is not only a national story, but he's probably the number one and number two story here in Detroit right now.
No, and I get that. Nationally, certainly I understand that. And D-Mac and I talked about that. You can feel the way you want to feel about it. I'm explaining my stance on it. The reason I don't care and I'm indifferent, although I do think the Rams will win this weekend and get to the Super Bowl, the reason I'm indifferent about it is because the team I root for, Penei Sewell, I think we can all – there are no dissenters. I guess that's the point of my question, right, Terry?
Right.
How can you be a dissenter of Penei Sewell?
Yeah, but as far as interest right now, Penei Sewell is way down the list compared to Matthew Stafford. I understand this is my team, I'm rooting for my team. But there's a lot of ramifications with Matthew Stafford. One, it shows how pathetic your organization is. The Lions can't win a playoff game with Matthew Stafford, then he goes somewhere else and he wins 2 in the same year. So it's an indictment on the Detroit Lions. B, you put these two factions together. They were the Matthew Stafford people, the anti-Stafford people. Now they're fighting each other. So friction makes for interest.
No, it does, and I understand that. I do.
But you're on the sidelines saying, whatever you guys do, I don't give a damn.
Well, Terry, as you would say, I'm above it.
Well, hey, you said it. I didn't have to say it.
You've just said it in the past, Terry. No, but with me, it is that simple to where I don't care about that because, as I've said, he's gone and he's not coming back. That doesn't interest me. I don't care. I don't feel one way or the other about it. He's just a guy on another team now to me. My focus is this kind of stuff right here. And I honestly believe this because of Brad Holmes. And we talk about Jared Goff and the bridge quarterback and should the Lions take a quarterback, should they not? Dan Campbell and his fourth down decisions. Who's a coordinator? Aaron Glenn's been a great coordinator. None of that matters here. None of it. Brad Holmes is the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5 most important thing to the Lions organization. The draft is the only key out of this, as I've said all season long. And through all this, returns like this, you got people saying, is Penei Sewell the next Joe Thomas? Where this, you won't have to worry about the tackle position for the next 13 years. You know what I'm saying, Terry? That's
True.
A cornerstone.
And at some point, he's going to be your left tackle. Because Taylor Decker is a little bit older than him. I would assume will retire before Penei Sewell. So Penei Sewell, to me, is right tackle now, but he's going to be the left tackle of the future.
Right, but he's like that, though. You can put him wherever you need to. Don Rivera says, Sewell sold me when he made Aaron Donald look like a child. And that was a big moment to me, too, because that was one of the reasons that I liked Ndamukong Suh so much, Terry, was because he was the one Lion that would step on Aaron Rodgers and say, look, man, you're not punking us out here, not today. Not when I'm out here. I'm going to punk you.
And he'll step on his old quarterback, Matthew Stafford. You don't care.
Or Stafford will kick him.
Stafford didn't kick him.
Okay, Terry. We'll never know.
Did not kick him. But I have a philosophy about NFL teams. You need a certain percentage of assholes.
You do.
And the Lions were always, we want to get character guys, which is fine. I don't fault them for that. But it can't be every guy is a sweetie pie. You got to get guys like Ndamukong Suh.
You need dogs.
You dogs, wolves.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call them. And so Ndamukong Suh was good for the Detroit Lions that, A, you didn't know what he was going to do. He was controversial. He was mean. He did stuff that was not right. But because since he's wearing a Lions uniform, a lot of people defended it. Oh, he didn't really kick that guy, or, and then he come up with some stuff. I was just trying to evacuate myself from the situation.
Get my balance.
Get some baloney like that. And guess what? Some people bought it. And shame on you, but that's your guy. Understand
I bought it because it fit my narrative, Terry. I was ahead of my time.
You didn't really buy it, did you?
No, I just enjoyed the fact that for once we weren't getting punked.
Right.
We were doing the punking.
Right. All right.
Because I think at the core we agree where you need some dudes like that. And that's really when this franchise is going to arrive, when you got guys that stand up and say, this ain't happening here today. Today is not the day.
Right. Or I'm going to poke your eyes out. Now, you can't have 30 or 40 guys like that, but you can have 5 or 6. It's okay.
You can have one. Charles McLean says how much of his success is on Hank Fraley. And I would say he was probably the most valued offensive tackle in the draft. So, I mean, obviously there was a lot of natural talent with the guy. But I would imagine Fraley's, he's been through the wars in this game. He probably had a thing or two to teach Penei Sewell.
Help, but even before he was drafted, if you read his draft reports, they said, it's a potential Hall of Fame player. They didn't say Pro Bowl player or solid player. They said this is a potential Hall of Fame player. In other words, other people saw his potential too.
No, they certainly did. And it gets me excited. These two things in particular that I've talked about, this with Penei Sewell, the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing, I just don't think that stat gets enough credit, Terry. Because how many Lions fans do you think secretly, they wouldn't say it on social media, they probably wouldn't say it in the chat thread, how many Lions fans out there would own that and say, you know what, I really did want him to re-sign Kenny Golladay? There were some.
I would say 30, 35%.
Right.
But I would say this I like Kenny Golladay as a player. But then it came to my attention that Kenny Golladay didn't want to be here. He's one of those guys who's like, I'm sick of the Lions. I want out. And he started pouting. They wanted him to come to practices. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to see anybody. So it was best for him to move on.
Right. And, just for me, though, that type of move, what would the Lions have done in the past? What would a past Lions organization do?
They would have signed him for $18 million a year because this is our guy, and we can't show everyone we messed up on the draft pick or that a guy is not happy here.
Right.
So we'll pay him whatever.
D. Smitty says, when he stood up to Donald, it took the cake. It showed he wasn't a punk, but he also had already held his own against Bosa and held him sackless. And that's the thing for me, because that's what I care about. What do you do against the dudes in the league? And he got dropped in his first game as a 20-year-old. Are you a kid when you're 20, Terry? For all intents and purposes.
But in this purpose, you're a kid.
You're a kid.
In the NFL, 20 years old, you're a kid.
And that first game, I mean, I was sold already, but that very first game, when you drop a 20-year-old kid in there and going up against Bosa, and he holds his own, that told me all I needed to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the stuff it's going to get.
Right. So, it's just that's part of it for me. And then, again, just going back to the St. Brown thing, I can't get past that stat that his entire contract is less than Kenny Golladay will make in 4 games next year.
Right.
That's what I've been waiting for this organization to do. And it falls in line, I guess, with my analytical values and my salary cap stuff and all that stuff. Maybe it's geeky, but Terry, is that huge? Is that huge to you?
No, that is huge. But I think if Golladay was happy and wanted to be here, he would have cost the Lions less money than the Giants were willing to pay him.
Yeah, so I don't know, but that is to be determined. Cintron World's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron's the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners with the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. I saw the ad for Cintron on the boards down at LCA yesterday when I was watching the Red Wings fall behind 4-0 at the end of the first period. See, I got to see the Cintron logo behind the goal because the Blackhawks kept putting the puck in the goal the whole time. So I got to see a lot of the Cintron ad.
That's mean.
It's factual, Terry.
It's true.
We'll talk about the Red Wings game a little bit later on. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. Buy online at CintronWorld.com with promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it, like Sawyer's doing over there in the booth. We had a case of the stuff. Everybody here smashed it all. It was like my kids when they get a new box of cereal. It was gone in an instant. That's how good it is. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep. deep right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rule, T. Foss, Terry Foster in the house. We got Sawyer, we got Sam as well. Sam Flan, is that what it was, Sam? I got to get it right.
Sam Flan.
Flan.
But then again, I just got given that nickname without my approval, but I approve.
Yeah, okay, you approve of it. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. No, but just kind of wrapping up this discussion here about Penei Sewell, and he was given the highest run blocking grade by Pro Football Focus since 2009 to a rookie offensive tackle. And in the YouTube chat thread, somebody said, "Come on, Neal, you can't be mad at somebody getting their bag." No, I'm not at all. That was actually AC. You can't be mad at a guy getting his bag. No, I'm not at all. I'm glad that the Lions didn't give it to him. That's my point. That they went in the draft and got a very, very capable replacement for him, because I would think that Kenny Golladay is not an all-pro receiver or of that ilk.
No,
right?
But if he had stayed here and gotten decent coaching, Kenny Golladay would have been a good receiver. I think what happened, we need to see what he does next season, because he switched teams late. Probably didn't want to be with the Giants, had to, acclimate himself. The pressure of New York and making all that money probably got to him. I think if he had stayed here, then he would have been the number one. Ross St. Brown would have been the number two guy, and you would have a much better wide receiving room. Would it equate to more victories? Probably. Would it be better for you in the long term? Yeah, because you got a high-priced receiver that's decent, and you got a lower price receiver who's decent. So, I know you're looking at the money thing, but I think if he had stayed here and gotten better coaching, I think you would have something here.
Yeah, but he still would have been, what, $14 million a year then? $15 million a year?
You have the high price and then the low price guy, but you have two receivers instead of one receiver and a bunch of bums.
They're working on that, Terry. There's another draft coming up.
Okay.
There's another draft coming up. And by the way, the compensatory picks seem like they're getting ready to drop as well. Lions will have a pick at the end of the third round because of Kenny Golladay. So he's a gift that keeps on giving. Not only did you not have to give him $18 million, you're going to scoop up a third-round pick for him. I believe they get a fifth-round pick for Marvin Jones and a sixth-round pick for Jamal Agnew.
Yes, they do.
And and guys, look, I've been kind of hinting at that all year long, where don't expect the Lions to make a ton of moves in free agency. And I believe one of the reasons we saw them not make a ton of moves in free agency this year was because of the comp picks.
Or how about this?
Picks.
People don't want to come here. So
I think it's a little of both, Terry.
We never want to acknowledge people don't want to come here and play. But I think the Lions, we're going to have 9 draft picks this year. That's great. That's the way, in the NFL, that's the way you build a team. It's a young man's game.
Yeah, so Lions Rumble says, we forgot about him. We forgot about Golladay once St. Brown started going ham. And that's true, too. And again, $900,000 a year as opposed to $18 million. Those are the moves that are going to make you a good football team. Those are the moves that this organization has never made in the history of this organization. That's why I don't jump up and down at the television or have this big affinity for Stafford or anything like that, because he's gone. And we got a guy in charge here that I think finally is capable of swimming in those waters from a personnel perspective.
Yeah, that's true. But Stafford is a good story. Stafford
I understand it.
Water cooler stuff. I'm sorry, it doesn't interest someone like you who's a highbrow. Sorry.
How is that being a highbrow? I think that's as gritty as it gets.
Us commoners, we like to fight over Matthew Stafford. We like to say, you know what? That bum is in the NFC Championship game. Or, that's my man. He's in the NFC Championship game. I went to the barber to get my beard trimmed today. First thing out of Victor's mouth was, man, Stafford's won 2 playoff games. Isn't that great? Now, he's on the I like Matthew Stafford side. He's still a Lions fan, but he likes Matthew Stafford. There was this video on Twitter. This guy is just screaming for Stafford.
We played it yesterday.
Right. Because he's on the Stafford side. I'm sure you could. There's a video somewhere of a guy said, "Oh, this jerk is going to win another playoff game, going to mess up my draft picks." So that
I didn't record myself. I didn't record myself, Terry. No, I'm kidding.
Were you cussing in front of the TV?
No, I wasn't cussing in front of the TV. Like, again, I want people to be happy. You know, good for him. I'd rather they lose, but
no, Neal. They're happy and sad. There's some happy folks, and there's some over here like seething, like, damn, this dude.
See, I just didn't care.
Of course you wouldn't care, but the rest of us do. You wouldn't care because I'm Neal Rule, and all this banter with you regular folk is beneath me.
T-Boss, I love you, man. I love you, man. Flintstone says not Agnew, Jared Davis. Can you believe we getting a comp pick for Jared Davis? That's like the time Joe Dumars traded Mateen Cleaves to the Sacramento Kings and got John Barry and a draft pick.
Right.
That's a fleecing that we get a comp pick. You can't believe that, can you, Sam? I see you standing over there in your flannel.
Oh, I mean, Mateen Cleaves might be the worst player in the history of the NBA. So the fact that you can get anything for him is just it's like highway robbery.
Yeah, got John Barry and a draft pick for him.
Unbelievable.
You know? And it is. And I like Mateen. He's a great guy, you know. But the business world,
Mateen's career is so bizarre. Dominant college basketball player. Even when he was a dominant college basketball player, you knew he would be a flop in the NBA because he was slow-footed. There's a lot of other things he couldn't do. But it's just, why are you so great in college and can't make the NBA? I can understand, like, if he's mediocre in college, he's not going to make the NBA, but he was great as the point guard for Michigan State University.
Yep. I agree. Gromit 0237, Stafford's not on the Lions anymore, so if you're a fan of Lions, you should care about the draft pick. Yeah, I mean, that's where I am. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just saying that's where I am.
You know, that's the way you should think, but that's not the way
so
a lot
I am
of people
right,
around
Terry.
here right.
So I'm not above it or bougie or anything.
Dude, look, there's a lot of times where you're right, and I know you're right, but I still got to chastise you because it just doesn't make sense. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to be right.
Okay. Thank you for verbalizing it like that to me, Terry. I swear to God, Terry, for real, that kind of made a light bulb go off in my head.
Okay. No, there's sometimes you're over there and said, man, this guy is really right, but I got to smack him because he needs some reality smacked into his head.
Well, see, and I'm willing to wear that. You know, I am. I ask people for experience. Those who have been there before, I ask and seek their knowledge.
Okay, and I'm here to help you.
I know you are, and that's why I appreciate that. Be it going to the local watering hole around the corner from here.
Yes. Well, I didn't know they'd switch it all up. We had to go through the back alley to get into it.
We persevered, though.
Right.
Rack says, watching Stafford win is like having a dream that you're rich, and then you wake up and you're a Lions fan still. Dom Rivera, ha ha ha! I love T. Foss's Neal impression.
It's not hard to do. What you have to do, pretend you're on a Grey Poo Pond commercial.
Yeah,
and that's Neal.
Man, you guys are funny. Tani Yang says, "How do comp picks work?" There's a formula to it. But kind of like given the common explanation, when you lose people via free agency, and that equates to more than the people you bring in via free agency, depending on the tier of the caliber player they are, you get a compensatory pick that comes at the end of the draft round based on how good of a player they were. Now, Galladay was an $18 million a year contract,
right.
And that's what dictates what a good player you are. It's not numbers-based.
Even though he was a bum in New York, you still get the end of the third round, which is the highest that you can get.
It's the highest one that you can get. So, and that played into it too. Where guys, this is where Brad Holmes is living, and again, that's why I think that they may sit out free agency again this year. And I don't remember the list of the free agents off the top of my head, but they will. I believe they will lay low again and try to scoop up comp picks again. I believe they will. I believe that's a play. That's why we saw the Brashard Perriman's $2.5 million. He knew. I mean, he didn't know, but he suspected that it was a pretty high-risk move, but low-risk stakes. It's $2.5 million on the books once. We bring him in. If it's a bust, it's a bust, and away it goes.
Right. And Brashard, it looks like for a while he could have gotten a ring, but that didn't quite work out.
No, it didn't. Benji the Goat says it's called a pity pick. Neal, people are upset with me. They're saying I'm AC. Damn, Neal, lay off Mateen. Why? I said he was a great college player.
Mateen Cleaves was a fantastic college player.
Right.
We're talking about the NBA. How'd that work out?
Wasn't good.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he would be the first one to tell you that.
Right.
Right?
He just wasn't good enough. He wasn't quick enough. He was, he's slow-footed. There was a lot of things that you can do and get away in college you can't get away with in the NBA.
Oh, and his stats, if you want to look them up, they're worse than you can even imagine. Just terrible. Like, counting stats, efficiency, all of it. He was just a really bad NBA player. No shame in that. Michigan State legend.
I didn't make the NBA either. That's still like me.
Matt Carrier says, I relate to Neal. I am bougie, and I work hard at it. Okay.
But here's the problem. Neal is trying to deny that he's bougie. Neal's saying, I'm a regular guy.
I am a regular guy, Terry. Here we go, man. T-Foss, you're causing damage, bro. Robert Closia says, Stafford talk again. I'm going to go grate my fingers in a cheese grater. Robert, I would suggest that you just cut them off with scissors or a knife or something. It'd be a lot easier. Then you wouldn't have to deal with the cheese grater or the extra pain. To accomplish the same thing, right? Or am I being bougie or obtuse again?
You're not being obtuse. You're all right.
Okay. That's what I would do, Robert, because I don't want to clean up the mess from the cheese grater and all that stuff. That way you can just, let the fingers fall off into the trash or whatever, and you can move on. Is that fair?
That's fair. Now, are we in enough trouble with our women friends?
I'm constantly in trouble, Terry.
Okay, I want to get in trouble with our women friends right here, right now. We had a situation where Matthew Stafford had a dust-up with Ndamukong Suh. And Ndamukong Suh is, I'm going to F you up, and he thought that Stafford kicked him, which I disagree. I don't think Stafford tried to kick Ndamukong Suh. He was trying to get him off of him in that last game. So Kelly Stafford, the wife of Matthew Stafford, has a podcast, and she talks all about it. And she said, I talked to Matthew this morning or last night or whatever, and he told me that what Sue said, and he gave her the whole setup about things. And she came to Stafford's defense, which isn't the first time. A couple weeks ago, she gets on her podcast and is telling L.A. fans not to sell tickets to the San Francisco 49ers fans because Matthew has to go to a silent count in his own arena. So that's twice in 2 weeks that Mama has tried to defend Daddy. But this happens a lot of times where the female tries to defend the man. Don't do it. Just, if your guy's getting his ass kicked, don't go up there and say, no, don't bother my Bobby. Hey, sometimes we just got to take the ass kicking.
I want to talk about that when we come back, Terry.
Okay.
I do want to talk about that because I have some thoughts on it as well. I actually got a text from one of my friends that says, Neal, you drink iced coffee. You're bougie. I do drink iced coffee. I don't drink regular coffee. I drink iced coffee. It's better. It tastes better to me.
Especially in the summer.
It's actually worth the extra effort to but I
Put
don't
those
like
ice cubes in there?
Yeah, like I don't get like the liquid iced coffee or whatever, mix it and stuff like that. I brew coffee and then I put ice in a pitcher and dump it in the pitcher and throw it in the fridge, and that's how I drink it.
I must be a real worm boy because I like iced tea.
So I guess since I drink iced coffee, I'm bougie. Let me tell you who's not bougie. Guardian Alarm. They're all about good defense on and off the field to help you feel secure. They got state-of-the-art technology, helps you feel safe with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control lights, adjust temperatures, detect smoke, even carbon monoxide. It'll let you lock and unlock your doors as well. You can call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Guardian Alarm's been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe. Some of the best rates in the security game as well. Even if we're with another security provider, break that phone call off to Guardian Alarm. What you would do is you would get on your phone and you would push 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
I'm going to bust you up.
Guardian Alarm will bust you up. There is no question about that. Guardian Alarm, trusted for over 90 years to keep your family safe. Your local security experts.
Hi, I'm Cade, Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Rule, Terry Foster, T-Foss. The YouTube poll, pretty much the results are in. Is Neal's wife right? Is he ridiculous? Going back to our food discussion. 70% of the people say yes. 30% say no. How about we do this? We'll put you on the spot a little bit. People are asking for a story time with Terry Foster. Okay. So as we pull up towards the second hour of the show, just kind of kick it around in your mind. Give us two choices, and then at noon we'll put the poll up, and 12:50.
Okay.
We'll do
Sounds
it. Is that fair?
To me. Sounds fair.
There you go. Give him a little bit of time. You cool with that, Sawyer?
Oh, yeah. Always down for a good story.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got T-Foss one day this week, so we'll do that then. Robert says, Neal's iced coffee has a ton of milk and sugar, so it's like a melted Haagen-Dazs, LOL. I don't do sugar, Robert, so that is not correct. Because that's bougie, right, Terry? Because I don't need sugar.
And plus, this is bitter Neal. He doesn't need sugar.
No, there was an earlier time in my life where I ate more than enough sugar for all of us. We'll just say
cream
it
in
like that. Yeah, regular cream, yeah.
Okay.
Put a little bit of cream in there. That's about it.
All right.
It's just when you don't eat or drink sugar, you have a very limited amount of beverages that you can drink. It's pretty much coffee, gypsy vodka, and water.
Yeah.
And non-sweetened iced tea.
Okay.
That's pretty much all you got.
That's
Terry.
solid. Man, that's okay. You can sustain yourself through that.
We were talking about Kelly Stafford, and she was on her podcast and talking about, when Matt plays the 49ers at home, they have to go to a silent count because it's too loud, and talked about the Ndamukong Suh situation, all that kind of stuff. And Terry said that, there comes a point where you don't want your woman or your wife or whoever, you don't want them sticking up for you.
Right.
And I think, Terry, you're spot on in this realm.
And you need to call 1-800-SHUT-UP.
Yeah. See, Joanne Buchanan says Stafford married a good one. We need more women sticking up for their men when it comes to reality matters. And I think in this realm, in this world that he's in, I'm with you, Terry. Like, you don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. And like for me, like my wife doesn't get involved with what I do. She's working right now. She's teaching your kids. She's out there teaching the children. Doesn't get involved, doesn't really go seek it out or anything like that. I tell her from time to time, because Terry, when you get on this microphone, 20% of the people that are listening aren't going to like what you say, no matter what you say.
How about 50%?
50, whatever. But I guess the better you are at it, the more that won't. But there will be a fraction, those of you that are doing sales right now, 20% of those clients you talk to aren't going to buy. Like, they're just not. Like, it's not going to happen. So, I mean, that's the way of the world. So in this profession, you get that. I wouldn't want my wife to be on social media, like if Woodward puts a clip out, and they do, and people comment on there like, this guy's a buffoon. They do. Like, I don't care. And I wouldn't want her commenting on there saying, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about.
Plus, Matthew Stafford has the opportunity to refute or challenge anything that happens in his life. He has a press conference on Sunday, press conference on Wednesday, and he can have a press conference anytime he wants. So there's something that bothers him, he can say it instead of Matthew Stafford most of the time, well, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. And then Callie Stafford, oh, yeah, it did bother him. Here's what he said. Now, Stafford is going to have to start treating his wife like a media member because when he says stuff in the bedroom, it goes out in public. So,
that's interesting, yeah.
So he's going to have to treat her like, give her the okey doke like he gives us, not the total picture, because there is a threat that stuff can be out in public because she is so hell-bent on defending Matthew Stafford. But, I equate it. I see times where back in the day when I was a youngster, then that two guys are fighting. And one of the dudes, woman steps in there and says, no, leave him alone. No, stay back. If he's willing to fight and get his ass kicked, well, then so be it. But you know what women always say? We do it because we love you so much. Yeah. I love you.
D. Smitty says, sticking up for your man is one thing, it's football. The way she's explaining on the podcast, she's around. She sounds like a straight-up Karen, and she don't know playing in the NFL is his job. Charles McLean said, I'm glad Los Angeles has to deal with Kelly's big mouth. So, Tammy Chin says Kelly's the one that wears the pants in the Stafford household. So, it's just, for me, I wouldn't like it. I'm surprised that it goes on. I do think it's a bad look, Terry. I think you're 100% right, man.
He's told her to shut up before. Don't do this. And so in Detroit, she said, okay, I'm going to chill out. So she stopped for a while here. Now she goes to L.A., got a different platform. She's all in now. Just not cool.
Rabs Amani says in caps, why all the Stafford talk? He's no longer a Lion. That's what I said. But everybody wants to keep talking about him, man.
You talk about what people want to talk about. You don't talk about what nobody wants to talk about, if that makes sense. He is still the number 1 and number 2 story here in the city of Detroit.
Yep, which I'm with you, brother. Like, again, I've articulated this for weeks. I just don't care. And people have misconstrued that and said you're a hater and stuff like that. It's not a hater. It's a non-carer, right? Whatever. I just don't care because it doesn't impact the team that I root for anymore. I care about Penei Sewell getting the highest run blocking grade by rookie offensive tackle in over a decade. I care about Amon-Ra St. Brown that is on the books for $900,000 a year for the next 3 to 4 years. That's what I care about. But everybody else, Terry, I can't. You can only fight the current for so long, Terry.
That's true.
Before you get tired and you drown.
Once again, you're right, but you're wrong.
Yeah, AC says Stafford is content. And look at the way, the YouTube chat thread explodes. You guys are on it right now. A lot of you that are watching on the YouTube channel, look at the way it explodes every time you talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we say we don't, but we do it. It's like media now, where media's gone towards that TMZ-ish. You know what I'm saying, Terry? That clickbaity, interactive. They want you commenting on it. Media's kind of taken that turn. And everyone's like, that's why I hate the media these days. But you don't, because they're not going to do stuff you don't want.
Right. Now, I always get a kick out of people who tell you not to talk about a certain thing. That's what you talk about because it's top of their mind. They think they're sick of it, but they're not. They listen and they comment on it, but they'll tell you don't talk about that.
Yeah. Sleeping Kind says Kelly isn't bad. She just seems to be Stafford's number 1 fan. For him, that's an awesome thing to have, especially after football. I just think that it's a bad look, and it's going to lead towards negativity. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was somebody else earlier in the YouTube chat thread said, wait till and this was a very great point, and I forget who it was. I apologize if things move too quickly. But whoever said, wait till she's critical of a teammate. And you know that minute's coming.
Yes.
Right?
That's going to be rough. Because Giselle was critical of Tom Brady's teammates. Saying, Tom can't do it all. They got him in trouble, too. That's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT.
Right.
So.
See, this is funny. Rock Howard, Stafford winning the Super Bowl this year is the content you dreamed of, Neal. Not me. I don't care about Matt Stafford. There's certain things, because Rob Sawani says, well, you bring them up. Because that's what people want to talk about.
Right. And you should care about him from this standpoint. If Matt Stafford wins the Super Bowl, Adam, the morning show gentleman, is going to do the show with no shirt on. So you should care about that.
He did bring in cigars for everybody on Monday, which I thought was pretty cool.
And if Stafford wins this Sunday, he's bringing in strippers.
That is what has been reported here on the Woodward Sports compound.
So I may have to come in early that day. Just to make sure things don't get out of hand.
Yeah. Well, Terry, like I said, I lean to you towards advice. You want to help people out. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of man you are. It's the kind of person you are.
Are you going to come in for the strippers?
Well, it's in the time frame that I get to the office anyway, so I will be here already.
He's not going to show up. You know why? Because I don't associate with strippers because that's nasty.
It's when I usually am here. I'm saying that, and I will give no further comment.
Okay, we'll see.
That's when I'm usually here.
If you're a real man, you'll be here early.
Oh man. Juices Ghost. Oh, blank. The morning show's about to be lit. Adam, for you guys that don't know, and I would encourage you to check out the Morning Woodward show from 8 to 10 here on Woodward Sports.
Adam's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Great.
DMAP Zoom. Strippers. Can anybody get in on that action? Well, you'll have to reach out to Adam Beydoun. That's a Morning Woodward situation where tomorrow tap into their show, DMAP Zoom. I'm not telling you not to listen to our show or watch our show. I'm saying if you want information, go straight to the source and look up Adam Beydoun maybe on Twitter or whatever and ask him directly. That's up to him. That's his operation. I don't care. Adam is deeply vested in Matt Stafford's success. And you know what? I like Adam. Adam's my friend. Adam can do what he wants.
But Adam is doing this for a bigger reason. The reason he's into the Stafford thing is to let people know how incompetent the Lions are. You've complained all these years, Stafford can't win a playoff game. He's not good enough to win a playoff game. He's too inaccurate. He's too erratic. Then he goes to another team and wins 2 playoff games. So I think what Adam is saying, it's an indictment of the Detroit Lions. So it is a local issue.
Jenna Newman says, a woman with an opinion, a woman who sticks up for a man, a woman who DGAF. If he didn't want her to do it, he'd ask her to stop. He loves that she has an opinion. And Jenna, that could be the case. You're right. That certainly could be the case.
Or maybe it's things that Stafford is too afraid to say, so he's got Kelly saying it.
That could be it, too.
Because, he's always, hey, Matthew, what do you think about your old team, the Lions? Well, I don't play in Detroit anymore, so I'm just here focused on, what I'm doing here. We're trying to win the Super Bowl. He does care about the Lions still, even though he's gone, but he's not going to say that. But Kelly Stafford can say it for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talked about it. Morning Woodward show Monday could be lit if Matt Stafford wins. I'm in, Terry, if they got some Gypsy Vodka, because it took exploring 50 different formulas, hosting countless taste tests. But Gypsy Vodka is the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. Look, it's gluten-free. That's cool. Corn distilled 6 times. That's cool. Artesian spring water. All that stuff's cool. It's got a cool bottle. I have one right down here, as a matter of fact. Cool looking bottle, all that stuff. What I care about is the vodka that's inside the bottle. When you pour it over some ice with some club soda and some lime, now you're talking. I'll be at a Matt Stafford party if we got the Gypsy Vodka flowing at 9:30 on a Monday, because, Terry, you know what they say, man. You can't drink all week if you don't drink on Monday, man.
Hello, true.
You got to do it, Terry. And you know me, I'm down for the cause, but hopefully that'll be flowing at the Morning Woodward party on Monday if Matt Stafford wins. You can support local guys from right here in the state of Michigan. Gypsy Vodka, made in Petoskey. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by name. It's Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets, daily on Woodward Sports.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Rule, Terry Foster here in the house. We got Sam Flan in the sound booth. I'm not feeling that one, Sam. I like Sam Flannel more.
Okay, well, you can call me whatever you want. I prefer Flannel Sam myself, but I'm not too picky.
Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to roll from now on. That's what I think I'm going to do.
I appreciate it.
We got Sawyer here as well. Got the Tampa Bay Rays. I never got the story. Why the Tampa Bay Rays hat?
Grandmother used to live down there in the area, and then every spring break throughout like middle school and high school, when we'd go to visit her, we'd always go to like an opening week game. So,
all right.
Like Tigers are number one, but I always grew up going to Rays games.
Stadium?
Oh yeah, it's always empty. It's great. You can like buy nosebleed seats, then you just go and sit on the third baseline. Did that every year.
I do that when I go down to Lauderdale for work. I go to the Marlins have become like my B team.
Nice.
You know, not a huge payroll. Still stay somewhat competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the playoffs in the COVID year, despite the fact that they have like no talent, but somehow they managed to do it. So the stadium's got a pool in it.
Oh yeah,
you know, the Clevelander Bar.
Pet
down.
the Stingrays at Tropicana. Do all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's very South Florida. I like it.
Oh yeah,
they got a DJ at the Clevelander Bar out in the outfield. So
have you been to the real Clevelander Bar?
I have not, Terry.
I have.
I bet you have.
I was there for a Super Bowl week. We were at the Clevelander. It was pretty crazy.
Was that the Colts? The Colts Bear Super Bowl?
Yes, it was.
It was. Yeah.
The Black Coaches Super Bowl.
Was it? How is it down there?
It's fun. There's a lot of talent, if you know what I'm talking about. And then for the Super Bowl, I had a friend who's going to be a shooter, and what he didn't understand was when you buy a drink, the drink is not $5. The drink is $20.
Right.
So
there's a Miami tax you pay.
Right. He's a big shooter. I'm gonna get around for the table. It was $200 and something, and then he's going around begging money for people. So, dude, you can't be a shooter Super Bowl week in Miami. It's impossible unless you're a real shooter for real.
Yeah, it's true. That separates everybody when you go down and you start kicking in Miami. I got out in Fort Lauderdale a little bit. You know, it's a decent scene. It's no Miami from what I'm told, but
yeah, once you're on the beach, you don't even know where you are.
Matt Carrier, Neal just looked down his nose at T-Foss and says, "I bet you have." I like that you've created this identity. You know, for me, I like that.
I didn't create this. This is who you are.
Gromit 0237 says, I lived in Tampa and everyone complained about the Trop. It's a bad stadium, isn't it, Sawyer?
Yeah, I mean,
it's awful.
Like, I don't mind it. It's just empty all the time. And the ceiling's white, so that kind of sucks too. You can't see any balls that are hit up in the air if you're sitting up above.
So that's true.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Like, if they hit one straight up and you got to look, and like there's the catwalk painted white, the ceiling's painted white, obviously the ball's white. So then you just wait, and then it just magically falls in the dude's glove. You're like, wow, okay.
They're going to move that team to Montreal, aren't they?
Oh, I hadn't heard that before. That'd be actually kind of cool.
Now, when they play baseball at the Trop, do they use yellow baseballs?
No, they still use
blue,
the white.
So you can see?
Be smart, though.
I wanted to show everybody this because this is cool. We talk about video games from time to time here, and Sawyer's obviously the guy that's up on it all. I'm more of a Techmo Bowl guy. Somebody on Twitter recreated the last 2 minutes of the Chiefs-Bills game with the Techmo Bowl technology. So on our YouTube channel right now, we're playing that, and they're showing the plays and everything like that, and it's pretty cool. That made me laugh. So what do you, as you look at that now, being gaming elite that you are, certainly with all of the bells and whistles and graphical technology that games have now, do you laugh at us for playing this back in the day?
Not really, no. I mean, I kind of appreciate it and respect it more just because they were able to do all this that long ago and create a football game with nothing compared to the technology we have today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like looking at how the technology on our phones was more powerful than the whole command center they used to send the rocket up to the moon. It just blows my mind that something so basic. If a friend
said, let's play Techmo Bowl, would you even play it?
I've never played it before. I'd try to be down to try it once. If
somebody invited you to play, would you play it?
Yeah.
I got to bring that in. We got to play one time.
Yeah. I'd play. Then we could play Madden. I'd bring my PlayStation in, do a generational thing.
Yeah, I'll hand off the controller to my son for that one.
Okay.
And you guys can mix it up in there. Now, Techmo Bowl was a great game, and here's why. Here's why I always contend Techmo Bowl was the best game, Sawyer. Because if you called a pass defense, it did this weird thing where it stopped the pass play. Like, you couldn't just throw it to Tyreek Hill and it would be a touchdown no matter what.
Yeah,
Or you
it's kinda
couldn't
nice.
scramble back around and then just throw it down the field and then Calvin Johnson would catch the ball. You had to call like a proper offense and a proper defense or stuff didn't work.
Yeah.
Kind of like real life.
Yeah, like real football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I contend, Terry, that game up on the screen right now is the realest football simulation that has been out.
I played one that was not realistic on Game Boy, and all of my football games ended 56-49 or something stupid like that. Every one.
Yeah, absolutely. Murray Mirage says, and yeah, we didn't talk about that. Ben Roethlisberger officially retired. We knew that he was trending towards that, but he officially retired today. So that Ben Roethlisberger career is done. Good run for him, man. Ben Roethlisberger or Aaron Rodgers right now? Who's better?
I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers.
Who had a better career?
I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers still. I think Ben Roethlisberger, for much of his career, later in his career, he kind of got fat, and he couldn't move, and he was ineffective. And here's the other thing. Could be the domino effect. Now that Ben is gone, now we have to wait to see where the other shoe's going to drop. Is Tom Brady going to be going? Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to end up in Pittsburgh or Tampa.
That's the question.
That's my prediction.
Juice's Ghost says, you could zigzag Bo Jackson for 100 yards every time you gave him the ball. Not against a human opponent, you couldn't, Juice's Ghost. I'll give you the Raiders. I'll take you down. You can give to Bo Jackson all you want, bro. I will get you down, and it'll be a wrap. That's real talk. So that gauntlet's out there. Somebody said they want a Woodward Sports Techmo Bowl tournament. I want all that smoke, Sawyer. I want it all.
I'm game.
You know what Woodward Sports should do? They should do a John Madden tournament.
They should.
Yeah, just, because everybody claims they can play Madden, and then, let's see who's the best.
Yeah, so, that is out there. How many, Steve Brown says, how many Super Bowls did Ben win? I'll go with Aaron Rodgers. He won 2, and they were fairly spaced out.
1-1 here.
1-1, yeah, and that was the game that Jerome Bettis was from Detroit game.
Yes, I didn't know Jerome Bettis was from Detroit.
But talking about playoffs and Super Bowls and stuff like that, and we played the Techmo Bowl last 2 minutes of the Bills-Chiefs game for you. We saw Patrick Mahomes obviously being a factor there. Over the weekend in that Bills game, Patrick Mahomes, Terry, crossed a line. He now has more postseason touchdowns than the Detroit Lions do since 1950. So there you go.
You know what? Here, let me step in and say, that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Matthew Stafford's got more playoff wins than the Lions since 1957. When you haven't done anything as a franchise, you can say that about anybody. I bet you Aaron Rodgers has more touchdown passes than the Detroit Lions.
In the playoffs, I bet he doesn't.
Probably does.
Because he's always one and done every year.
No, but he's played in 21 games. And even if he has one in each game, that's still going to trump the Lions.
I'd have to look that up because I am curious about that. How many touchdowns did you say that the Lions had? What was it, 24?
Yeah, I believe so. I'll pull the graph back up. Yeah, 24, and Mahomes has 25.
All right. He's got 45 touchdowns in the 22 games in his playoff
Like I said,
career.
that stat doesn't mean anything. I bet you a whole bunch of dudes have more touchdowns than the Lions.
I mean, but Mahomes though, how old is Mahomes? Though? He can't be what, 24?
He's a young man. Yeah, he's got to be 25 though.
Yeah, whatever though. That's the point of the story though. Those things are funny though, Terry. Like I like to bring those up. Honolulu Blue Sparty. Neal, would you rather have a gold jacket or a Super Bowl ring? Can't have both. I would probably rather have a gold jacket because that means I had some big contracts along the way.
I'm a team guy. I want the Super Bowl. And, you still get paid a little bit. But, yeah, the gold jacket, you have your big ceremony in Canton, and that's a big deal. But you know what? I'd rather be able to rise up a community, hang out with my boys, win with my boys, and then at the end of the year, I'm number one, or we're number one. So give me the Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I would take the gold jacket because of the money, and then I would have ring chased the last 3 years of my career, like Karl Malone or Gary Payton. Mm-hmm. Take the veterans minimum, just show up to the Buccaneers. I'd have been like Ndamukong Suh or those guys, that Robert Sherman that just kind of showed up and ring chase. Neal was probably the kind of guy that would look at your controller to see what play you pick. Neal's a paddle peeker.
Are you a paddle peeker?
No, I wouldn't do that because we did the thing like I would just hold it behind my back or whatever.
But was your opponent holding behind their back?
Yeah, that was kind of like the understood.
Right, because the key is were you peeking?
No,
we don't care about your opponent. We want to make sure.
No,
that
Terry, I was good enough. I didn't have to look.
Ooh,
I knew what you were going to do.
Damn.
I picked up on your patterns as an opponent.
Hello.
I knew the plays that you were going to run. I knew what was going to happen, Terry, because I was that skilled at it.
He's a bad man.
NFL is coming towards the end, everybody. It's championship weekend, AFC championship, NFC championship, ultimately the Super Bowl. Where are you getting down on it at? MyBookie.ag would be my recommendation. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. Load that account up, and you will be ready to rock for the NFL playoffs. March Madness just around the corner as well. If you really like betting on stuff, NBA All-Star Weekend, Terry, take the West, lay a couple points, bet on somebody to win the three-point contest, Terry. You can do that, the dunk contest.
I'd caution against that. That stuff is rigged. But go ahead. You can still win.
But go ahead and do it. If you are going to do it, because you're going to do it anyway, go to mybookie.ag. Again, they'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. And look, the deposits are great. Having access to bet on everything is great. The interface, though, is where it's at. It's very smooth. It's very sleek. It's easy to read. All of those things that, if you have it on your phone, sometimes, those apps will be a little bit smaller and stuff like that. MyBookie.ag, very easy to work with. And, oh, by the way, did I mention they'll double your first deposit up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. Get that action in this weekend on MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Monday through Friday for Big D Energy live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neal Rule.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rule, T. Foss, Terry Foster in the house. We got Sawyer, we got Sam Flannel in the house also in the sound booth, and happy to have everybody here with us today on Big D Energy. D-Mac Darren McCarty will back in his regular fashion on Monday, so he has all the business ends, everything all tied up. He is ready to go. Sean Belesian's brain aneurysm, wanting success for Stafford is not wrong. I was on the draft capital train until I realized that this is their year, and there was no way they were going to be worse. So good on Stafford. So, and that's fine. AC says, is Cade Cunningham an all-star? And Cade Cunningham, look, we talked about his game against the Nuggets the other night. He had 34, 8, and 8. He had 4 blocks as well. Made history. Him and Michael Jordan, the only rookies with stat lines like that since the 1970. So, you look at it from that perspective. And AC asked the question. He says, is Cade an all-star? And, Terry, I don't think Cade is there yet as far as the all-star discussion goes.
He's been an all-star the last 3 weeks. But when you look at the bigger picture, no, he's not an all-star yet. But he will be.
Are we locked in with Cade Cunningham the same way you are with Sewell?
Yes, even bigger.
Oh, really?
Because Cade Cunningham, it's basketball and football. First of all, for basketball, if you're locked in on somebody, you really like him, it means he's the face of the franchise. He can dictate more about where this franchise is going to go. Penei Sewell plays football, a very important piece of one of 22, if you want to include special teams, one of 33. But Cade Cunningham, for him to work out here, not only must he be great, but he must be the Pistons face, the face of the franchise. He's got to win games. He's got to win championships for him to work out. Penei Sewell doesn't have to win a championship for the Detroit Lions. What he has to be is a very important piece and take care of eventually the quarterback's blind side. That's what he's going to be doing at some point.
Cap City Sports Fiend says, and this is up Sawyer's alley, says, too bad Madden is cheeks now. Play NCAA 03. I know, and I only read those, Sawyer, for you because you're very anti-Madden these days.
I mean, yeah, it's just tough. Like, when all they care about is the money. It's a bummer. Game goes to crap.
You're right. So, it's for me with Cade, it just kind of goes back to some of the things that I've talked about in the past, where you know what you have with Cade Cunningham. D-Mac brought up a great point yesterday, and that's the first thing I thought when we played there last year, when we played Oklahoma State last year. When he walked out of the tunnel, first time I saw him, I was like, damn. You know how in college basketball you get those guys from time to time where you look at their body.
And they look like men already.
Their bodies are NBA ready. That was the thing that blew me away about LeBron James. In high school,
right,
he had a man's football body already.
Yeah, they say he could have been a great tight end.
I'm sure he could have been, whatever he was going to be at. Mm-hmm. But it's just, Cade Cunningham, lock it up. What about Sadiq Bey, Terry? Is he a piece?
He's a piece. I need to see more. I'd say yes. I mean, he's starting to ball out a little bit.
So you got one ironclad piece. You have Sadiq Bey, which you think can be a piece. Is that it? What about this roster right now? Isaiah Stewart? Very undersized.
I would say yes until a few weeks ago. I thought he was trending that way. Now he's taking a little step back. Killian Hayes, I would say no. I would say that Killian Hayes at some point is going to be a second line role player for this team, or he'll be traded. It's not going to be, oh man, here comes Cade Cunningham and Killian Hayes into Chicago to lead the Detroit Pistons against the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. YT Sparty says Cade is Grant Hill 2.0, and then says I hated Grant Hill. I don't, and I defer to you because you were covering the league intimately at that time during the Grant Hill years. I think that Cade Cunningham isn't as explosive as Grant Hill. Like I understand where people are going with it. I don't agree with those comps. He's not as explosive as Grant Hill, but Grant Hill could lift other players up around him the same way that Cade Cunningham can do. And what I mean by that is I think Cade Cunningham, and what makes him so valuable to me is obviously he can shoot it. He had a rough start for sure, but obviously he's proven he can shoot it. He can do what the situation dictates, Terry. And I think more importantly, from a franchise position, he can do what the franchise dictates, if you know what I mean, just in terms of what you're able to do from a personnel perspective.
When he's out there, all eyes on the defense are looking at him. Even if you're guarding somebody else, you got to take a peek at Cade Cunningham to see what he's doing. I would agree with you that Grant Hill was more explosive, but Cade Cunningham plays that type of game where I'm in control of this game. I never viewed Grant Hill as a guy of I'm in control of this court. Now, I'm going to play very well. I'm going to do my thing. But Cade Cunningham, it's like, these are my pieces. These are my peeps. So I'm going to dictate this 48 minutes and see where we land at the end of it.
Yeah. AC asks a question. Neal, is AAU changing the way modern basketball is played? And I've had this discussion about youth sports in America before. And I think with AAU, Terry, and I'm curious to get your take on this, AAU, I think, has hampered development for youth players just in terms of their total game of what they do. Because, Terry, you know how it works now. With AAU, you get these travel teams together, you go to these tournaments, and you're playing 3 games in a day, you're playing 4 games in a day. And we in America confuse player development with winning. And what I mean by that is when you win games as an AAU coach or as a youth coach, then obviously you're developing your players. When I think it's the exact opposite of that. Because if you have a lethal left-hand first step, but you're nowhere near as good with your right hand, but your left-hand first step is so great that there's not another youth player in that tournament that can stop it. What are you going to do when the game is close? You know what I'm saying? When the game is close, what are you going to do?
But I spent some time with, I think it was the family. They practice. They work on fundamentals, but they do play 1 million games in a day. And the one thing that you don't want basketball players to be out of the gym. At least they're in the gym. They have their tournaments. During games, they may not be working on things, but they're still going up against pretty good competition. I think the problem most people have with AAU is those coaches want a bigger say in what happens to those players in college and stuff than the high school coaches. So a lot of times you got to go to the AAU coach to get to the player. So that's the part I don't like. But I do like the fact that kids are in the gym, they're playing games, and they may be doing too many games, but they're still in the gym. And that's why one thing that worries me is like track and field in America. We're still doing well in the Olympics, but track and field is not as big over here as it is in Europe. We don't have as many meets. We don't have as many track and field people running track in college that we used to. So my fear is that America might fall off the map in track and field. And you can see it to a little certain extent. If you want to see the real sprinters, it's Jamaica, right?
Right.
The long distance people's Kenya. So I think some of that, there might be a little bit of erosion happen now. I don't want that to happen with basketball.
And that is true. And we are seeing that gap certainly being closed over the last 2 decades, even as a matter of fact. You had the Dream Team come out, and we've seen the world catch up to it. And why is that, though, Terry? When you watch those games, when you watch those Olympic games, what are the European countries doing so well that the American players do not?
The Euro step. They've developed their own style of basketball.
Bingo.
And sometimes it's hard to catch up. I remember one time I was covering the NBA Finals, and there was a bunch of European players. And so we played a 5-on-5 game against the European guys. They kicked our ass. They were so in sync. They had plays. They were passing the ball inside.
It was system-based.
And there was a system, and they kick it, pump it, kick it out, hit a three-point play. We were chasing them all over the court.
And that's another thing, too, and I equate this more to soccer than I probably would basketball, although I would guess the principle remains the same. In European countries, South American countries with soccer, Terry, they take kids that are 8 years old, 10 years old, and they put them in the national system. And they have their best coaches coaching them at 8 years old, at 10 years old. Mm-hmm. So by the time they get to be 16 or 17 and they're ready to step forward and play with that national identity, the way that country plays the game, it's seamless because they've been formed as a player within that system. To whereas here in America, your AAU, your travel sports, all that stuff, you got 4 different coaches. You're on 4 different teams that do 4 different formations, that do 4 different kinds of ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you supposed to be competitive in that?
Right, and then there are some youth teams in the United States. They don't care about winning. They're just going to work on your individual skills. So they don't care if they're 3-9 at the end of the season. But then there's others that we're here to win. So there's different philosophies for different teams, and so it's kind of a hodgepodge in soccer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take another break, Terry. When we come back, you gotta give me the 2 stories, and then Sawyer will put it to the YouTube poll. So okay. T-Foss will give you 2 choices. Sawyer will cook up the YouTube poll, and we'll do a kind of a lightning round of voting for that. And then, at 50 minutes in the second hour, at the 50-minute mark of the second hour, T-Foss will tap in, and he will give you Storytime with Terry Foster. Now, I know, like, this morning I was on the treadmill at Planet Fitness, and I was thinking about that, about how Storytime with Terry Foster was on the horizon. And I was happy to do that, and I was happy that I knew that was coming because it got me through. I looked down, and all of a sudden 10 minutes had gone by, and I got through like a mile and a quarter, Terry, so thank you. Planet Fitness.
That's what I'm here for. And see, I don't do the cardio anymore for Planet Fitness. I'm working on my weights, so I get the 2 and 3 pound weights. And you know what? Nobody says anything. They don't say, you're only carrying around 3 pounds. No, because it's no judgment zone. You don't have the guys with the spaghetti strap, little tube tops walking
the
around.
Gallon of milk, or the gallon of water.
Yeah, no, it's not even water. It's something that I have no idea what's in those things. Right, electrolytes and that stuff. But for only $10 a month, you can go to Planet Fitness. So it doesn't matter what you look like right now. It doesn't matter what stage of togetherness you're in. Nobody's going to judge you. Everybody's having a good time. They're doing their own thing. And the thing I like about Planet Fitness, too, in addition to working out, you meet friends there. So you can also, they have massage chairs, the hydro massage bed, which I'm telling you, you need to go on this thing. This thing is really good. It gives you a full body massage if you're a Black Card member. And you can be a Black Card member for only $22.99 a month, and which means you can go to any Planet Fitness in the world. And I've been to Planet Fitnesses in Las Vegas, where we worked out outside, by the way, Indiana, Troy, Bloomfield Hills, Traverse City, all over the place. So you have a home gym even when you're not at home, which is one of the great things about Planet Fitness. So join today in club or go online at planetfitness.com. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There's one open up in Midtown now at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center. That should be fun. Right now, $0 down, $10 a month. Be a Planet Fitness purple workout guy like me.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, joint.
It's Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rule, Terry Foster, Sam Flannel in the sound booth, and we got Sawyer on the ones and twos as well. Happy to have you all with us here today. So, Terry, the people are clamoring for it. We've already established that I am ridiculous. My wife was correct in saying that I am ridiculous. So let's establish another thing here. Story time with Terry Foster coming up in about 22-ish minutes. What's on the menu for story time with Terry Foster?
They're both Lions related. One is the time I got cussed out by Rod Marinelli. And the second one is my fight with the entire Detroit Lions offensive line. So whichever you want to go. Cussed out by Rod Marinelli or my fight with the offensive line of the Detroit Lions.
These are both good options, Terry. Mm-hmm. Usually I have it made up in my mind the second I hear the options, which one I'm going to go with. I'm very trusting of my instinct. And I'm double clutching right now.
Good.
I'm double clutching. I do have to say that.
Double clutch you sometime.
I'm double clutching. So we will have Sawyer put that up on the YouTube chat thread poll, so all of you that are watching on the YouTube channel, you can dictate exactly what will it be. And he has it up there right now. Story time with T. Flips, cussed out by Rod Marinelli, fight with the entire Lions offensive line. I will put fight with the Lions offensive line as a minus 140 favorite. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, that's one I want to hear. Vegas wants to hear it too, but we'll see what the people say.
I think it's bumping up to minus 160. I might have set that line a little bit too low. Red Wings lost last night 8-5 to the Blackhawks at LCA And I'm curious to get the people's opinion on it. Where, for me, Alex Nedeljkovic got chased in the first period, gave up 4 goals in the first period. They were down 4-0. They scored 3 goals in the second period, but in the end just couldn't bridge the gap to the Blackhawks. And Terry, for me last night, I was excited to sit down and watch the game. I was excited to watch the TNT coverage of it. It was a little corny, I thought. It was the first time I sat down and watched the studio show. And it was Wayne Gretzky's birthday, so they kept putting up silly little pictures of Wayne Gretzky through the 80s and saying happy birthday to Wayne. And I didn't even see Wayne Gretzky there, which I thought was kind of weird. But whatever, that's whatever. I was excited to sit down and watch it. I said, all right, I'm going to lock in. I'm going to clear the calendar.
Watch some Red Wing hockey.
Yeah, I had a gypsy and soda and watch Red Wing hockey. And they got blasted from minute one. It came out, they had an 8-2 edge, I think it was, in shots to start the game, and then the Blackhawks just took over and got destroyed. And I was angry, Terry. And it's a good thing, and let me tell you why. And I'm curious to see where everybody is in the YouTube chat there. I encourage you to tap in about what your thoughts were. I was angry because they flirted with the playoffs. They've been, I think. Do you think they're on line with what people thought? Maybe a little bit ahead. Where do you think they are?
I think for what people expect, I'd say they're a little bit behind.
Okay.
I think people actually expected them to maybe go down to the wire and just miss the playoffs. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, and it's not. And for me, I sat down. They're about where I thought. I thought they'd flirt with a playoff spot. I didn't think that they were ready to make the playoffs. But for the first time in probably a half a decade or more, I talked about that game against Boston where I really perked up and paid attention. And then they got cooked. And then yesterday I said, all right, let's see if they can put some wins together, jump back into this thing. Chicago's a team they should beat. And they got cooked. And it made me angry yesterday, Terry. And for the first time in 5 or 7 years, I was angry at watching the game. And I know that the eyes are planned. I understand that. And no one's been more of a defender. Even D-Mac hasn't been as much of a defender as Yzerman's moves as I have. To where it made me angry because you don't get it both ways, Terry.
Who are you mad at?
I was mad at the team. I was mad at the game. I was mad at the effort. I was mad at the performance. And I know we spend a lot of time celebrating where they are with the cap space and 2 deserving candidates for the Rookie of the Year and the moves that Yzerman's made. And then they've been great. And I understand I'm taking this with a grain of salt here. But in that moment, isolating it to that game, I was upset. I was disappointed with that effort. And I was mad that they got cooked so bad, Terry. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
So you're mad. You hated the game, but that's good.
It is, because it's right along these lines right here. Cap City Sports Fiend says, I can't take them seriously until their defense is better. And that's what I'm noticing, Terry, in these games. But that's in line with a young team, with a historically young team like they are.
Because it's not just defense. You can't just say, well, their defense is bad. You have to look, their mental mistakes are bad, which causes defensive breakdowns. This is a team, and this is because of youth. A lot of it has to do with youth. They just do stupid stuff. And you're like, dudes, really? And it comes, and the frustrating thing is, it will come after a 5-6 minute stretch. You're like, all right, these guys, all right, they got it together. And then all of a sudden, it's like dodo time. And it's like, okay, what did you do? Why are you doing this now? Why have you decided to turn into a bunch of knuckleheads? But that's youth. And here's the one word that we don't want to hear in professional sports. Patience. Got to be patient. You got to build it right.
Which I am. I'm cool with. I'm cool with that. Look at me with the Lions, Terry. 2023.
Hey, but you started being patient with the Lions in 1964, so you got a big problem there, brother. But I think when you look, Steve Yzerman and Brad Holmes are doing things in a similar way. They know that there's going to be some flaws in their product as they're building this. That's why Brad Holmes didn't get the the flashy wide receiver or quarterback this last year. That's why Steve Eiserman didn't get the high-flying, high-scoring center, because their belief is this: you got to build it from the inside out. And for sports fans, when people do that, you look at that, so that's pretty damn boring.
Right.
But you have to have your trenches intact in football. You have to have your defenseman and goaltender intact in hockey. We're not seeing it now. So what you're seeing, the Delkovich and Sider, 3 years from now, we should see greatness out of these guys. And the Delkovich, we see that sometimes. But then I went to the game last week, and he gave up the softest goals I've seen in a while.
He gave up real softies yesterday.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hugging the post, and the puck still got through him. It was like he's an invisible man. I didn't understand it.
Lage78 says, I was thinking they're about where I thought they would be at this point of the season. Lions Rumble 81 says, Terry needs a Cintron. Okay. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Brenna says, that was a good game. I don't know what you're talking about. This wasn't a playoff team in anyone's eyes at the start of the season. And, Bress, that's not true, man. Like, people were on here. They were saying, flirt for the – that was my expectation. Flirt for the playoffs, ultimately not have enough to get there in the end. And that's about where they were. My frustration is with efforts like that. But it is – I was angry. And – As we advance this franchise, as this franchise improves, the expectations go up, and you don't get flowers all the time. But when you come out and you give up 4 goals in the first period, and you're down 4-0, and you give up 8 goals to the Blackhawks, yeah, but I'm going to be upset about that.
You know how many times you should give up 8 goals in a season?
Never.
0. Right. That's a bad effort.
It is a bad effort. Klompsaw says depth and defense, that's what's missing. So, and that's fair. And young teams are going to have moments like this. And, I think I'm starting to get past a point, Terry, where I'm not going to give them credit for coming back and making it 4-3 when they were down 4-0. But that's a credit to where the franchise is. Am I being crazy here with this, Terry?
No, you're absolutely not. Because that's one of my criticisms of the Detroit Lions. They get down by 3 touchdowns, and then they play hard and lose by 1 touchdown. But here's the key: you still lost. And sometimes what we don't notice is the opponent lets up a little bit and allows Detroit teams back into games. But when you get down 4-0, I don't hear about comebacks where you almost came back in the game, but then you fell apart at the end. That's a loser's mentality.
Stephen Baffy says, that's why I quit watching the Wings when Shanahan left. No more grit on the team. I thought the young Wings had some grit with a question mark. And they do at times, and they've been competitive in games where I thought that they would not be competitive in. But every now and then you get one of these. And like I said, I go back to that game against the Bruins where I that one had my full attention. Like, that was the day the music died for the season for me. Like, talking about the playoffs, because they had to have it, because there's so many. Boston had so many games in hand, and they essentially had to have that win. And if they didn't get it, it kind of triggered what we thought might happen. And now that's over. Like, the playoff stuff, that's over. You can't be 8 points back and be 4 games back as well. Boston had 4 games at hand. The playoff stuff's over. That's dead to me right now. And it was upsetting. But at the same time, Terry, it was the first time in a long time where I cared in January. Right. It was. At least there was a game I cared about. It's
the little things that are killing them now. For instance, in the Friday game against the Dallas Stars, Todd Bertuzzi has the puck, and it's an open net, and they're trying to put him away. Instead of taking a couple extra strides, so when you fire on the net and miss, then Dallas has to bring it back up the ice. Instead, he fired it too soon, missed the net, and so it's icing. It's just little things like that the Wings aren't thinking about, and it's why they lose. That's why, Blashill and I think Eiserman to a certain extent are upset about their execution at the end of games. That's when they kind of fall apart. That's when they make the mental mistakes, and they're not doing the little things that can guarantee victory.
I know when Sawyer's at the end of a game of bowling, he doesn't fall apart.
Oh, no. Because we pick ourselves back up and we go right to that mystery beer machine and we get ourselves another round, and it just resets you for another game of bowling. It's great. You just got to go to the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck or go check them out online. They have locations around Michigan. They got one in Indianapolis. That's where me and my fraternity brothers would go play when I was down at school. The game was created at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Place very special to me. So once I found that out, I was like, I got to go do this. I got to go play it. It happens at a place I like to call my home. I got to learn the game of my home, which is Foaling. And you guys should learn it too. It's fantastic. You got to go show up to the Foaling Warehouse. Big warehouse, multiple lanes everywhere, 2 full bars, 2 mystery beer machines. You guys have heard the spiel before. I've pulled myself a PBR, an old Milwaukee. Braylon got the Colt 45. We're starting to get people sending us in pictures on social media of their hitters. So, I mean, it works. It's tried, true, tested. You get results every time. But, hey, if you don't want to risk your $2, I understand it. We want to be safe sometimes financially. They have over 100 beers to choose from. Get yourself an Oberon. Get yourself a Record the Edmund Fitzgerald Porter if you're feeling crazy. Get yourself a Coors Banquet if you like drinking fancy, be a little snooty, you know? So, I mean, bring your own food in. Uber Eats it. You can show up with a picnic basket, little blanket, lay out a spot, have a nice meal, go play some Foaling. You can show up, pay $10, play from open to close, unlimited to play. Or if you want to go private, you know, I know Neal likes to do this, doesn't like dealing with us normal people. Rent a lane for $120.
Neal's got
you
private
do your corporate
lanes.
events. Yep. Do your corporate events, team building. You know, we had our Christmas party there, family reunions are there. I mean, it's a great time. So all you got to do, go to foalingwarehouse.com or go to the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. This is Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. We got Neal on the desk, T. Foss in the house today. From San Francisco, we got Sam doing the audio, and I'm in here keeping us live. We'll be right back.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Storytime with Terry Foster coming up in about 10 minutes on our YouTube poll right now. Do you want to hear about the time he was cussed out by Rod Marinelli, or do you want to hear about the time he almost had a fight with the entire Lions offensive line? Lions offensive line fight currently with a 60% to 40% edge over being cussed out by Rod Marinelli. So we're just about 9 minutes away from Storytime with T. Flips. I'm
okay with that.
Yeah, okay. On our YouTube chat thread, Honolulu Blue Sparty says, how does Sawyer keep hitting home runs on this Foaling read? He's legendary.
I just black out. I don't even know what I say half the time, you know? You get in that flow state, and it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Terry and Sawyer getting together, piling on with me. That's to be expected. I expect that with this crew here today. Terry, I thought about you when I saw this come across social media, and it was interesting to me. Odell Beckham Jr. took his contract with the Rams in Bitcoin.
Why?
Well, it's like the new thing, right? Where that's what a lot of the athletes are doing is they're taking their payments in Bitcoin. So, on November 12th.
Once again, why? I mean, if it doesn't have a dead president's face on it, I don't want it.
So on November 12th, when he signed the deal, it was worth $750,000. He was going to take it in Bitcoin. At that time, Bitcoin was worth $64,293. Today, it's worth $35,400. That was at the time that this story was written. I just checked it right now. It's at $36,200 right this second. So today, that $750,000 deal is worth about $413,000. He'll be taxed, however, on $750,000 because that's the value of the contract. Federal and California state tax will be 50.3%, which means that right now, Odell Beckham will have made $35,700 for playing for the LA Rams
Here's
this
what
year.
I would be doing. Hello, my agent, you're fired. Get the hell out of here.
I'm sure Odell Beckham had to want that, though.
Yeah, but isn't people who are athletes who are, shall we say, have an alternate personality, don't they do things like that, little silly stuff? Like Ricky Williams, he he signed with a radical or agency, and he got ripped off. He had weird things in his contract where, incentives you're never going to get, goofy incentives. You know what? Just pay me. Pay me in dead presidents. Even if you got to, put the money in my bank account and I use a debit card, pay me the traditional way. I don't want any Bitcoins or Bitfruit or anything like that. Just pay me in dead presidents.
Straight cash, Terry.
Straight cash, homie.
And you look at it in the past month alone, Bitcoin's down about 29-ish%. So it has had a little bit of reckoning in the open markets. That's not to say it can't recover, Terry. And I'm not a stock prognosticator or anything like that. It's a good entry point, I think, right now to some of the technology companies.
I'm old-fashioned. If I have a $20 bill and I slap it here on here, guess what? In 30 days, that's going to be worth $20. In 50 days, that $20 bill is going to be worth $20. It doesn't matter. It's money.
But Terry,
I think
it's proven right now that what that $20 will buy changes, though.
I understand that, but it's still $20. I know what I got. Now, if I put the Bitcoins in my pocket, I don't know how it's changing. They got this commercial with this guy. It's talking about, I'm a millionaire. Oh, no, I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. Oh, no, I'm not a millionaire. That's because he's got Bitcoin. It keeps fluctuating, and I want stability.
You're not feeling this. You're not feeling this whole Bitcoin thing at all, are you?
I think it's stupid. It's dumb. Why do people feel they got to be so different than everybody else? I got to be different than the rest of the world.
Because they don't trust the government, Terry. Do you think the government has your best interest at heart?
This has nothing to do with the government. This has to do with a contract between you and an NFL team. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Cinema, they have nothing to do with this. Give me my money.
All right, Juices Ghost on our YouTube chat thread. This one's directed at you, Terry. He says, OBJ is looking at what it's going to be worth 10 years from now, Terry.
It could be worth 50 cents in 10 years. You don't know. Bitcoin, I don't trust it.
Jenna Newman says, I agree with Terry. Robert says Bitcoin's a long play, but the tax ramifications are obviously problematic. And that's my thing, where you're being taxed the cash rate. Like, that's what you are. You're being taxed that. It doesn't matter, the Bitcoin conversion, all that kind of stuff. It's almost like betting on sports to some degree, Terry. Because of that little 10% house edge that they get on losses, you have to hit it like a 56% clip to win.
Right.
And it's very, very hard to do that.
Just pay me in gold, I guess.
YT Sparty, Bitcoin, NFTs, total scams, they're indicative of our times right now.
Because do we
have too much money? Somebody said we have too much money now.
No, we want to hit the home run. No, we're not content with here's my $1,000. I'm looking at $1,000. I want it to be $40,000 in like 6 months. So I do stupid stuff like Bitcoin or Bitfruit or whatever. So I'm just hoping to hit the jackpot all the time. But that's not what life is about. Few people hit the jackpot. And that's why, that's why we have casinos. Because people go up there and, I got my last dollar, but I know when I walk out of here, I'm going to have $10,000, $20,000 because I believe in me. I believe in the system. It's going to happen for me.
Yep. The time to have gotten Bitcoin was before it became a stock option in the year after. So
you know what? You know when the time to stop with Bitcoin? When I found out about it. When Bitcoin was out there and I didn't know anything about it, that's when you should have invested. The minute I found out what Bitcoin was,
too late.
You said, oops, too late. Had a moment. Let me step back.
All right. Hey, no one on our YouTube chat thread says your boomer mentality is showing, Terry.
Hey, all I know is I've been able to keep my money. I don't try to hit the home runs, except when I buy my lottery tickets. Yes, I think I'm going to buy. I think I'm going to hit Powerball and Mega Millions. That's why I buy them. So I'm guilty to a certain extent.
Some people got your back, though. Stephen Baffy says, I agree that there are safer investments out there.
That's not even an investment. I want my money, and then I decide what I want to invest in.
Yeah.
Don't pay me in an investment. Give me my money and let me decide what I want to invest in.
It is funny, though, and some, I think it was Clomp Sauce in our YouTube chat there that said that math hits pretty hard. And it does. That math hits really hard. And to think OBJ will make $37,000 playing for the Rams this year. Maybe we should get him over here at Woodward. Give him a raise, you know?
Yeah, I know. Give him his own show.
Probably should.
Mm-hmm.
Be better off for him. You don't have to go over the middle anymore.
And my understanding, they pay in cash here or in check, not Bitcoin.
Oh, man. I just wanted to do that. I thought it was pretty interesting. And yeah, the math hits like a sledgehammer, man. It is incredible. And, yeah, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the concept of the Bitcoin, Terry, I understand. I do. And I think Bitcoin has a future because people don't trust their government, man. They don't. Like a U.S. dollar is valued based on how the U.S. government values it. And they don't trust it. The Bitcoin, all the Bitcoin's transactions are verified by the people. So that's what it is. It's a people versus government type thing. Okay. And that's never going to go away, Terry.
I'm not in this. I'm staying out of this.
All right. Well, I know one thing you are going to be a part of, and that's Storytime with Terry Foster.
Yeah, I'm ready.
When we come back, we're going to get to that. Let me tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency. SMA's been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Coming soon to Woodward Sports, the Sports Marketing Agency podcast entitled This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com. Be on the lookout for that podcast coming soon as well. We'll be back. Storytime with Terry Foster on Big D Energy and the Woodward Sports Network.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
No off-season for us. We're talking sports. 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
T-Foss has the people up in arms. Back out of here. Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Calvin Whitney says, this is just laughable. Bitcoin has had many 85% drops and yet survives all of them. All of them. Yeah, and it's true. Bipolar Pump brings up a good point, too. Odell can get a tax deduction for the $375,000 loss. That's true.
Sure. That's all I want is tax deductions as you taking my money away.
All right, time for story time with Uncle Terry. You had the choice. They were both Detroit Lions related. First option was a time Terry got cussed out by Rod Marinelli. Option number 2 was a time Terry almost fought the entire Lions offensive line. The results are in. The people want to hear the time that Terry Foster almost fought the entire offensive line, 57% to 42%. Terry, tell us about the time you almost fought the entire Lions offensive line.
Well, back in the day when Barry Sanders was the star running back in Detroit, I used to get into little battles with the Detroit Lions offensive line. I thought they kind of stunk, and I used to write about it. I used to tell them, there was this one lineman, Larry Tharp, and I told him, I said, you got to be the worst offensive lineman in the National Football League.
But he's a good jazz player, though, isn't he?
No, that's Larry Lee.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
And he was not a part of that team.
Okay.
So anyway, I used to make up names about Larry Tharp, and it would always call him a sieve or a pylon or something like that. He even admitted that some of the names I called him were funny. But one day I go in there, and they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them. I say, okay, there's something wrong here. And so I go in there, and they're all pissed off at me because I ripped them again. So then I looked at the bulletin board, because everybody has bulletin boards for each position group. And there was a picture of me with a clown nose on. In other words, I'm a clown and I don't know anything about football. I don't know anything about the offensive line. So they're sticking together. So I turned to Lomas Brown, and before I even said anything, I didn't have anything to do with that. That was the rest of them. And so I tried. He claims I even tried to stop him because they hate you. I said, well, I hate them too because, their whole thing was you got Barry Sanders, who's a threat to rush for 2,000 yards every year, at least 1,500 yards every year. And I said, yeah, he can do that. But guess what? When they give the ball to Barry and he looks up, there's 3 defenders looking at him like, which way you going to go? So he's got to make some acrobatic moves just to get a couple yards. So they didn't appreciate me because I was just on their case. So you guys got to block better. And they always claim, well, it's difficult to block for Barry because he's a unique running back. And I said, that's baloney. You stay in front of your man, do your zone block or whatever, and then when Barry gets the ball, he can run between the tackles or run outside. He doesn't have to stop, go fake to his left, fake to his right, 5 yards deep in the end zone. So we fought, and the bottom line is they thought I was a clown.
But you squared up with them.
I squared up with them.
As Lions Rumble 81 says.
Yeah. I mean, being a journalist is not all fun and games sometimes. You got to battle with your subjects stuff. And so I battled with them, and then trying to think, Kevin Glover was kind of like a professor. So I think a couple of them wanted to jump me. But Kevin Glover said, no, we don't do that around here. We're professionals. Don't beat them up.
Kevin Glover was great.
He was.
Great.
See, I want to say, the offensive line stinks, but I'm excluding Kevin Glover and Lomas Brown.
Right.
The rest of y'all, I don't know about this.
I always think about that too. Like if that tragic accident didn't happen to Eric Andolsek and Mike Utley, that offensive line
could have been
had the pieces to be. I mean,
Right.
like Dallas Cowboys level offensive line.
Right.
I mean, they could have been great. All right, let's jump into the YouTube chat thread here, Terry, to ride this out, shall we? This is a funny dichotomy here. Juice's Ghost. Terry probably thinks the internet is a fad too, but then he says, "Oh, blank! This is a Larry Tharp story. I used to have a Larry Tharp jersey." So there you go. See, we found common ground with everybody right there.
Yes, indeed.
So I think that was pretty funny. Rob Swift says, "Until you guys have money like Terry, you cannot question Terry's moves."
Okay. And can I ask you, what are you doing with the Larry Tharp jersey in the first place?
I was waiting for someone to ask a question.
Could you buy that off the rack, or did you have to go and buy the letters and put it on the back of a jersey?
Steve Brown wants to know, Terry, you mean being a journalist isn't always being at the Sun Bowl?
It is not. It's the Sun Bowl. Did I get yelled at? Nope, didn't get yelled at the Sun Bowl. It was a perfect trip.
Lions Rumble says, great show today. I liked it. He says to click like on the YouTube chat thread. Yeah, if you guys are on there, just slide over the under the YouTube video. Click a like button on there. If you're listening on radio, cue it up one time on YouTube. Click a like on there and do all of that. It's a good show today, Terry. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And if you click like, Neal's going to get some Bitcoins. So let's do it.
I wish that was the case, man. We should set it up that way. No, I don't have I understand the concept of Bitcoin, Terry. It boils down to a people versus government issue. That's what it is. And that's never going away, Terry.
We're gonna try to find a way to rip off the people who are trying to hit home runs every day. So yeah, I'll pay you in Bitcoin. You may have this $50,000, and you may not. So roll the dice. Don't trust it.
T-Foss playing bingo after the show. Boomer.
Don't they have the the transvestite? No, it's the bingo thing in Royal Oak. Not in Royal Oak, but in Ferndale. Transvestite bingo.
Don't know anything about it, Terry.
You got to read the Metro Times.
Okay. I'll be like you, Terry. I'll check that out.
Okay, check it out.
I'll check that out. For Terry Foster, for Sam Flannel, and for Sawyer, my name is Neal Rule. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.
Gang, gang.